Welcome, everyone. We're diving deep into one of the most iconic races out there, Monaco.
Yep.
And, more importantly for us, how you can potentially crush your DraftKings contests for the 2025 Monaco Grand Prix.
That's the goal.
Our mission today,
Mhm.
it's really focused, give you the essential insights, the strategies you need to navigate this beast of a circuit.
Yeah.
And hopefully, fingers crossed, take home some DFS winnings.
We've got a really solid source here. It's a comprehensive preview, digs right into every driver, every constructor.
Specifically with Monaco in mind.
Exactly. Looking at all those unique challenges.
And those challenges, they make Monaco just Monaco, don't they?
Yeah.
It's the ultimate precision test. It's like relentless maze of barriers overtaking. Forget it.
About as likely as finding cheap parking on race day, yeah.
It's so tight, so unforgiving, and that just completely changes how the weekend plays out, especially for DFS.
Absolutely. Think about qualifying. In Monaco, qualifying basically sets the table for Sunday.
It's everything.
Track position is just king. If you don't start near the front, scoring real points, it's incredibly tough.
Unless
there's drama. Which, let's be honest, is another key Monaco factor we need to prep for in DraftKings.
Oh, exactly. It's not just about who's fast is Saturday. Monaco loves throwing curveballs.
Right.
Safety cars feel almost guaranteed. Red flags wouldn't shock me.
Nope.
And just, general chaos can break out anytime, creates huge swings, big opportunities for your lineups.
And don't forget the teams. Constructor correlation.
Yes.
If a team locks out that front row, the odds of both drivers having a massive race just skyrocket. That link between teammates is extra powerful here.
Good point. And then the ultimate wild card.
The weather.
Rain. A little bit of rain in Monaco turns it into a total lottery.
Completely.
Yep.
Suddenly elevates guys who thrive in the wet, or just the survivors,
Definitely. Okay, so with that unique Monaco backdrop set, let's dive into the drivers, starting at the top of the DraftKings list.
Okay, let's kick off with Oscar Piastri, McLaren, $13,000.
Piastri. What a season he's having, right?
Incredible.
Showing amazing pace, real poise on street circuits, too, which is exactly what you need here.
And that McLaren car, it just looks so agile, quick in the slow stuff, seems tailor-made for Monaco.
Plus, what's interesting for DFS, he's sometimes out-qualifying Norris.
And maybe seems a little less error-prone. Possibly.
Yeah, potentially. So what's the DFS angle?
Well, the analysis points to him as an elite captain choice because he seems to have a really high floor.
Meaning
a pretty safe bet for a good finish, like top 4, assuming he qualifies well.
Okay.
Stack him with the McLaren constructor, that could really boost your upside if they have a dominant weekend.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Then there's his teammate, Lando Norris, just slightly cheaper, $12,400.
And talk about momentum. Recent win, string of podiums. He's flying.
He's got that aggression when he needs it, but he's smart too. And Monaco, where you can't really overtake, that plays right into his qualifying strength.
Exactly. The preview pegs him as a top CPT or driver play. Simple as that.
If he grabs pole.
He's instantly a favorite to win, yeah. Maybe a bit more volatile than Piastri, a slightly wider range of outcomes perhaps, but the ceiling is huge.
Gotcha. Okay. Can't talk top tier without Max Verstappen. $12,000.
Always a threat. Always.
But the preview raises an interesting point. The Red Bull maybe hasn't looked quite as dominant on these high downforce bumpy tracks in 2025.
That's a key observation, yeah. While Max's ability to just wring speed out of anything and avoid mistakes is, well, unmatched.
Right.
The car itself might not have that comfortable edge here that we've seen elsewhere.
So for your DraftKings strategy, what does that mean? Fading him feels risky.
Very risky. High ownership is almost guaranteed, but fading Max is tough. If he's on the front row, he's almost a must-play.
But there's that slight question mark.
Just a slight one, about the car on the specific track type. Though Verstappen's talent often just makes that irrelevant.
True. Okay, moving to Ferrari. Charles Leclerc. $10,200. Hometown hero. Qualifying specialist.
The story writes itself, doesn't it?
It really does. He's got that extra motivation here, obviously, and we know his one-lap pace is electric.
The irony, of course, is his historically awful luck in Monaco.
Yeah, it's unbelievable sometimes.
But the preview nails it. If he qualifies on pole, he is a genuine win contender.
And, crucially for DraftKings,
likely lower ownership than the McLarens and Max. That's key.
Feels like prime GPP territory then. Guaranteed prize pools?
Absolutely. For those bigger tournaments, his potential for a huge score, combined with being maybe less popular, that's how you differentiate.
Stacking with Ferrari makes sense too.
Smart move if you think he can pull off that pole to win. Capitalizes fully.
Okay, rounding out this top group, George Russell,
Yeah.
Mercedes, $9,800.
Mr. Consistency.
Yeah, seems to always keep it clean, brings home solid points.
And while Mercedes probably isn't the favorite to win here, Russell's driving style, smooth, precise, that fits Monaco perfectly.
So maybe not the massive ceiling of the others.
Probably not, but he offers a really reliable points floor. A good choice for balanced lineups, maybe, if you want to pivot away from the chalk up top.
All right, let's shift down a bit. Upper mid-tier and a name-generating buzz. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, the other Mercedes, $7,800.
The rookie sensation, yeah. He's been so impressive, mature, composed, especially for his F1 experience level.
And like we said, Monaco rewards that smooth, air-free driving. Could really suit him.
Definitely.
So for DraftKings, low ownership.
Almost certainly. Which makes him a really interesting high-upside GPP play, if he can just navigate the chaos.
Could pay off big time if you fade the top guys.
Exactly. He's a strong GPP target for unique builds.
Okay, next, Alexander Albon, Williams, $6,400.
Qualifying specialist is right. He consistently gets more out of that Williams than you'd expect.
And here, that quality skill is huge. If he manages to sneak into Q3,
he's got a real shot to just hold that position, stay there, and rack up decent points.
an analysis calls him the best value in this tier.
Yeah, seems fair. He's a useful salary saver, works in cash games, works in GPPs. Keep an eye on practice times.
If Williams looks quick,
then Albon becomes a really attractive pick at that price.
got it. What about the other Williams, Carlos Sainz Jr., $6,000?
Yeah, the move to Williams hasn't really clicked yet, has it?
Not so far. He's generally reliable, sure, but the car's limitations seem pretty clear this year.
And in Monaco, car performance matters so much. Hard to see him suddenly jumping up the order unless things get really weird.
So the DFS play is wait and see on qualifying.
Pretty much. Only consider him if he shows surprising speed on Saturday. Otherwise, he's a very risky GPP dart throw. Highly contrarian.
Okay. Then, Yuki Tsunoda, Racing Bulls, $5,400.
Yeah.
Known for his spirited style.
That's one way to put it. Aggressive, definitely.
Which in Monaco, double-edged sword.
Big time. Might gain spots through sheer force of will, but the risk of binning it into the barrier is always there.
Always lurking.
If, and it's a big if, he keeps it clean all race, he could sneak into the points.
So another GPP-only play.
Yeah, feels like it. Contrarian, higher risk, higher reward. Might work out if the race gets messy.
All right, last one in this group. Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari, $9,400. Familiar face, new team.
Yep. The Ferrari move has been up and down, but his Monaco record speaks for itself.
Master of this place. Vast experience, incredible racecraft, and he's usually great in tricky conditions.
Exactly. Less error-prone than many, especially when things get unpredictable.
So the preview sees him as a contrarian GPP play.
Yeah, and highlights the rain angle. If it looks wet, his value jumps significantly.
Makes him a good pivot off Leclerc or Russell in that price range.
A really interesting one, yeah. Could be a smart way to get different.
Okay, let's dig into the mid-tier and the value spots now. This is where you find those crucial salary savers.
Let's start with Pierre Gasly. Alpine, $5,000.
Gasly, known as a bit of a street circuit guy, right?
He has that reputation, yeah.
Yeah.
And that experience could help here.
Yeah, the Alpine.
Yeah, the car's performance is just not there right now, unfortunately. Seems quite off the pace.
So for DraftKings, he's just a GPP lottery ticket.
Pretty much. You're banking on that street skill and hoping for absolute chaos, basically. Hoping he can pick up spots from others' mistakes.
Right. Next, Isaac Adjar, Racing Bulls rookie, $4,800.
He seems really composed for a rookie, doesn't he?
He does, and like we keep saying, Monaco rewards precision, keeping cool.
Plus, he actually has a decent F2 record here. That's worth noting.
Definitely a positive. So for DFS, cheap exposure to potential points.
Yeah, if you can just avoid trouble, keep it clean. There's risk, obviously, being a rookie here, but the price is tempting if you need salary relief.
Okay, moving to a very seasoned veteran, Fernando Alonso, Aston Martin, $4,600.
Yeah, Alonso. Always a factor, especially if it's wet or if lots of cars drop out.
Tenacious is the word. Even if the Aston's form seems to have dipped a bit.
You just never count him out, do you? Especially if there's an opportunity through strategy or chaos.
So the DFS angle matches that. Consider him if rain is forecast.
Exactly, or you're building really contrarian lineups trying to be way different. His experience is invaluable in tricky conditions.
Makes sense. The Nico Hülkenberg, Sauber, $4,200.
Loads of experience.
And that could be key if others make mistakes, right? He could benefit from retirements.
That's the angle at this price. The Sauber itself isn't quick. He's not fighting for the top spots on pace.
So it's about survival.
Yeah. In a messy race, his ability to stay out of trouble might see him sneak into the coins. But he's a deep value play.
Only if you really need the salary savings.
Pretty much.
Okay, another young guy. Oliver Bierman, Haas, $4,000. Clearly eager to impress.
Definitely wants to make his mark.
And Haas, maybe surprisingly, often seems reliable in Monaco.
We have shown that tendency, yeah. If Bierman keeps his head and avoids the walls, maybe. Especially if others hit trouble, he could maybe sneak into the top 10.
High risk, high reward, though.
Absolutely. The preview tags him perfectly. Best for large field GPPs. And really, only consider him if he somehow qualifies inside the top 10. That's the key.
Gotcha. Staying with Haas, Esteban Ocon. Just under 4K at $3,800. Known for being quite aggressive.
Yeah, and like we said with Yuki, that aggression can be a huge liability here.
But he has scored big points in chaotic races before.
He has. When attrition is high, sometimes his style works out unexpectedly.
So for DFS, just a pure punt.
Pure punt play, yeah. Only look his way if you're loading up on stars elsewhere and desperately need the cheapest possible options to make the salary work.
Okay, we're really getting into the bargain basement now. Lance Stroll, Aston Martin, $3,600.
His Monaco record is, inconsistent.
That's generous.
Yeah. But look, the price is undeniably low.
If you absolutely need savings, he's there.
He's an option purely based on price.
And then Liam Lawson, Racing Bulls, $3,400. Another rookie.
Showed some good flashes in his limited F1 runs, though.
If he can just avoid accidents, keep it on the black stuff, maybe he surprises.
Maybe. Potential is there, but it's a long shot.
Definitely fits that punt play category for stars and scrubs builds.
Exactly. Pairing expensive guys with super cheap options like him, hoping they just finish and grab a few points.
Right down to the bottom now. Gabriel Bortoleto, Sauber, $3,200.
Oh.
Rookie, limited F1 time.
At this price, in Monaco, you're literally just hoping he survives.
As simple as that.
Sometimes just finishing when others crash out nets you unexpected points. That's the hope here.
So only for extreme salary relief.
Only if you've spent big elsewhere and need the absolute minimum price tag.
And finally, the cheapest driver, Franco Colapinto, Alpine, $3,000, another rookie.
Yeah, at this price, you're dreaming of some serious luck for Alpine.
Like a perfectly timed safety car, lucky pit stop.
Something like that. Anything to jump him up the order artificially because the car pace won't do it.
He's just the ultimate enabler for salary flexibility.
That's exactly it. You're not expecting performance, just using the price tag.
Okay, let's switch gears. Constructors. McLaren tops the list at $15,000.
And for good reason. Highest average points.
If Norris and Piastri manage that front row lockout in qualifying.
Then stacking McLaren, both drivers plus the constructor, becomes a potentially dominant strategy. Huge upside there.
Makes sense. Next, Ferrari at $10,000.
Interesting spot. Leclerc's home race motivation, Hamilton's Monaco experience.
Could be strong value if they qualify well.
Absolutely. Potential for both drivers to score well is definitely there. Strong consideration, especially if you like their drivers individually.
Red Bull Racing, just behind at $9,900.
Despite those track concerns we mentioned, you just can't dismiss them.
Not with Verstappen.
Exactly. His talent means they're always a threat for a big score. Don't completely ignore them.
Mercedes, $9,800. Consistent performers.
Yeah, maybe not flashy, but generally reliable. Solid choice for balanced builds. You expect decent points from both cars. Probably not a slate-breaking score, but solid.
Then a big price drop to Williams, $4,500.
Significant salary saver if you want to pay up elsewhere.
But you need to see qualifying pace first.
Definitely. Only really consider them if Albon or Sainz look surprisingly quick on Saturday. That suggests maybe both cars have some potential.
Okay, and the rest. Aston Martin, Racing Bulls, Sauber, Haas, Alpine, all at the $3,000 minimum.
Deepest punt options here, only for extreme salary relief in big GPPs.
Where you've spent big on drivers.
Exactly. You need the cheapest constructor and make it work. The odds of both their cars scoring big are pretty low, so you're banking on weirdness.
All right, let's tie this all together. A quick DFS strategy recap for Monaco.
Okay.
Number one, qualifying is absolutely paramount. You have to be ready to adjust lineups after Saturday. The grid is just so predictive here.
Crucial. Number two, stacking. Pairing your captain with their constructor. Smart way to maximize correlation. Very viable here.
Number three, weather watch. Keep checking that forecast right up to the race. Rain changes everything. Boosts value for experienced guys. Maybe cheaper options too.
Definitely. Number 4, ownership. Be mindful. Norris, Piastri, Max will likely be popular. Leclerc, Hamilton. Could be savvy pivots to get different.
And finally, don't ignore value. That one cheap driver who somehow finishes P8, that can absolutely rocket your lineup up the standings.
Precisely. Monitor quality like a hawk. Think about stacks, react to weather, consider ownership pivots, and hunt for that value gem.
This deep dive, based on that expert analysis, should give everyone a really solid overview of the Monaco DraftKings landscape. Keep those unique Monaco traits in mind, the difficulty, the chaos potential, and the strategies we hit on as you build those lineups.
And remember, Saturday's qualifying results are going to be absolutely critical. They'll shape your final calls.
Yeah, we really hope this detailed look helps you gain an edge this weekend. Now, maybe think about what strategies fit your style best for this unique race. Is there an overlooked driver, maybe starting further back, who could surprise? How might a truly chaotic race unfold? And which of those cheap guys, those punt plays, might actually end up benefiting the most?
Lots to think about before lock. Good luck, everyone.